Feels great. Feels great to be back. Always feel good to be back out here doing something that you love. Heading into year 12 doesn't feel like it's year 12, which is a good thing. But everything's starting to come together very well. Proud of the guys on the way they came back. Extremely focused, dialed in on their task that's been asked of them, and looking forward to the season.
Seen a lot of different defenses, but what's it like now to kind of settle into more of a maybe off or zone kind of coverage style?
Man, it's definitely taking a lot of stress off my body for sure. Having the opportunity to be able to see a lot of things unfold versus always having to seem like I'm running for my life almost every play for 60 minutes in a football game. Now it's a change of scenery for sure. Playing with a little bit more depth, playing with vision, it gives every guy that's on the football field, 11 guys on the defensive side of the ball, to make plays.
Difference in the way that Cameron Dantzler has approached the game this year? He looks like he's playing a little bit better than Cam.
Yeah, Cameron definitely has been playing with a lot of swagger, a ton of more confidence. You can tell that he understands the situation that he's in, and completely taking that task head on. You can't ask nothing better of a young player that kind of went through the first 2 years of his career the way he has. But that's behind him right now, like I always tell him as a DB, you got to have amnesia anyway. You can't worry about the success or the failure. You have to worry about fixing the problem that's present right now. And at the end of the day, he came back in with a chip on his shoulder, moving a lot more fluent. You can tell he's comfortable in the scheme, and just extremely proud of the strides he's been taking. Now he just have to go out there and put it on tape when it counts for real.
Told us last year about some of the things you could see in him that were kind of waiting, and that you kind of maybe invested in him a little bit, spent some time with him.
Oh yeah, I'm always spending a ton of time with him. Just not only to keep his confidence where it needs to be, but just give him little nuggets on the game on how to maybe jump routes a little bit earlier, how to not to have your body in so many stress situations. Just understanding what you have to take care of, understanding your responsibility, and I believe that will slow the game down a ton for you. And he's been doing that, especially with the defense that Coach Ed is calling for us. Corners have a responsibility of not giving up the 8 or the 9 ball. And some other defenses, we may have a little bit more stress on us. So just understanding what technique is calls for that play at that certain time, I believe it'll put him in much better situations.
Pete, I believe you've talked several times just about the enthusiasm, the energy, what you see out of the camp. Talk about it some more, and why do you see that enthusiasm and that energy?
I think having majority of the guys back from last year's team, I believe drive a ton of that enthusiasm because I believe if we clean up obviously the mistakes in the situational football, I believe we'll be a much better record-wise. We'll be a much better football team, but we weren't able to do that. And having the guys come back from last year's team, understanding that was a big Achilles heel for us, and we understand if we can clean up those situational football, points in the game, we'll be a much better football team. So having KO and Ed bring their scheme over, it just makes it that much more fun because it's giving playmakers the ability to be playmakers.
Patrick, Justin Jefferson talked about wanting to be considered the best receiver in the NFL. Obviously, you've gone up against the best receivers in the NFL for your whole career. What is it that's similar between the guys who are considered the elite of the elite that he does? Is there like a similarity that you see with all great elite receivers?
Yeah, he'll be a great. It's just a matter of time, and he's on the rise there now. If not the best receiver in today's game. He's very, very polished. Came into camp, it looks a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Looked like he had a little bit more mass onto his body, but he has all the tools ever since a rookie. Very polished route runner, can catch any ball. Sharp off the line of scrimmage versus press. Makes every route looks the same when he's coming in and out of his break. So you can just tell that he's been coached very well throughout his. Not even his NFL career, but his football career. Just to come into the league that polished is you don't see that very often. And like I said, he's up there already. So it's not many weaknesses in his game. just excited to see, just an honor to see where he was when he was 11 years old when I first met him, into where he is right now. So, just extremely happy and proud of the path he's taken into his young NFL career so far.
How good was he at 11?
He was really good. I remember him telling me all the time he's going to make these same catches that he was making in the WCA parking lot in Tiger Stadium, and that he did. And when I had the opportunity to go down there spring camp with those guys and be able to see him, he's out there, him and Jamar Chase calling me out, wanting to do one-on-one. So you knew those guys always had that it factor. It was just a matter of time.
In your career, been an assistant coach, you either played for or been around who you said, this guy's got it, he's going to be a head coach one day?
Oh, yeah, Larry Foote. He's a linebacker. I believe he's the co-defensive coordinator right now in Tampa. Just how sharp Coach Foote was, just how in tune in the game he was. He knew all of his players. He knows the history of the game, played in great defenses, played in Super Bowls. He understands how to connect with players, and I won't be surprised if he, won't be a head coach on any level. High school, college, wherever his desires are, he'll definitely be a head man in charge at some point.
Yeah, Pete, as a veteran going to a lot of training camps, what's it like going to another? Is there any part of you, oh, geez, another training camp to grind? Or is the enthusiasm that you spoke about earlier kind of outweigh that?
Oh, yeah, the enthusiasm always outweigh it. Once I come to that point of, it's another training camp, I think it's going to be time for me to retire. But I love the game so much. I love coming to work every day. I love trying to invest into these young guys for the future to keep the game in good hands. And I feel like that's my duty. So I still love the game. Into year training camp 12 doesn't feel like training camp 12, thank God. And I just want to keep it rolling. All right, guys, let's go.